And this is the AM News with me, Sweetie Abochi. Let's get into the details. And hundreds of people have been protesting on the streets of Accra, calling for the release of the detained demonstrators and also calling on the government to deal with the Galamsey menace. Spokesperson of the Office of the Attorney General, Isaac Wilberforce-Mensah, who received a petition from the concerned citizens against Galamsey, has assured the protesters that the AG will receive their petition. Wilberforce-Mensah commended the protesters for fighting a good cause, indicating that the AG will not oppose to a bail application for the 53 remanded protesters when next they appear in court. Kenneth Jesse has more.
Well, the demonstration that started from Legon Stadium at Okponglo, passing through many principal streets of the capital city in demand for the release of the 53 remanded protesters and an end to Galamsey has come to an end. This is the first of 3 days of such protests that these young men and women are undertaking. And of course, we engaged most of them who expressed the reasons why they have decided to take part in this demonstration.
This is the state of water bodies in the central region. In fact, this one, I sourced it from the Ofen River at Dunkaonofen. The Ofen River joins the Praia River. The Praia River serves majority of the dwellers in the central region. It means that we are all at risk. So I found it needful to be part of this all-important call to demand for our leaders to take action and clamp down on illegal miners.
What we are drinking, this is what we are drinking. Please, Akufo-Addo, Ghana government, say something. Please. Please say something.
President don't stick bets, but he's taking best stars from us. The president, they've messed everything. See, Galamsey is killing. He's killing a lot of people. Now go to Kolebu Hospital and check everything that's going on. They must do something. They have to release the those they've arrested. They have to release them immediately.
That day, what flag, what right did the Ghana police have to come and attempt to tow our car away? What right, what legal right did the police have to tow our car away?
Galamsey is polluting our water bodies. It was predicted that in 2030, we will be importing water. How many of us can afford to import water? How many of us can afford to import water? Me, I can't afford to import water. Oh.
A petition was formally presented to the Office of the Attorney General, which was received by the spokesperson of that office, Wilberforce-Mensah.
We want to also say that from our side, as officers of the Attorney General's office, we stand with you in the sense, or we fight your fight with you in the sense that we are also prosecuting all those whose dockets have come to us in respect of Galamsey and illegal mining. That is what we can do in respect of our mandate in the Constitution. That is what we can do. He has indicated very clearly that he's aware of the various applications that have been filed for in respect of bail, and he will look at each application on a case-by-case basis, and do not be surprised that will go to court and many of these applications will not even be opposed.
Of course, this is a 3-day demonstration which continues on Friday and ends on Saturday. So from the car park of the Accra Sports Stadium, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Still on the matter, lawyer for the applicants, Francis Javier Sosu, has been speaking to Joy News. He says that they expect the court to ensure the applicants get justice.
We are saying that several rights have been violated with respect to these protesters. For example, a lot of them were unlawfully arrested. Some were just bystanders. They were not involved in anything or any illegality when they were all bundled together. And when they were held, were not given meals as they're supposed to be given in detention. They continuously were changing their places of detention, so they would deny them access to their family members and their lawyers, which violates their rights to, fair trial and so on and so forth. They've been subjected to all kinds of dehumanizing treatment. seriously violated by the state. And so this action is simply to ask the court to make declarations to that effect, and possibly, where necessary, the court awards adequate compensation for those violations. And not only that, we are hoping that as the regular criminal matter goes on, all the issues that border on bail, because we in this action are even saying that denying them of bail also violates their rights, because under Article 19 of the Constitution, every person arrested is supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. But what is happening in this state is that we are treating these protesters, ordinary protesters, as if they are hardened criminals and denying them the right to bail in violation of the Constitution of Ghana.
Now, the National Labour Commission is set to summon organised labour over its intended strike action, industrial action, on October 10th. The Trades Union Congress has declared an indefinite nationwide strike on Tuesday, following the expiration of a one-month ultimatum to government to declare a state of emergency on all illegal mining activities. The latest unions to declare their readiness for the strike are GPRTU and the Concerned Drivers Association. 3 days after organised labour declared the nationwide strike for 10th October, Executive Secretary of the NLC, Ofosu Asamoah, speaking to Joy News yesterday, said the NLC is yet to receive a strike notice from organised labour.
When you look at the reason they have given for this fight, that is the environmental, it's one of a national issue. It is not directly linked with the welfare of their members, as unions are set up to do, to seek the welfare of their members, do negotiation, arbitration, this with their employees and so on. But this one, they are fighting a national, concern, right? So properly, you can't situating it in the Labor Act is difficult, right? But then, the only reason for which Labor Commission is able to come in, right, is the declaration of the strike. Organized labor could have pressured the government or pursued their cause in other ways. You can decide to go and sleep in the street, organize series of demonstrations, picket at the Jubilee House, picket at the ministry, or picket at wherever, Minerals Commission, wherever they want to do, right? They can petition chiefs, they can call on the citizens for action and so on, right? That one, Labor Commission will not be interested. But with the declaration of the strike, that workers from on the 10th of this end, you are declaring a strike, people will not go to work and so on. That is where Labour Commission comes in.
So what have they done? Have they notified you of the strike and have not served a certain complaint? Which one do you have now?
We haven't received any formal notification of the strike from a group called Organized Labour led by TUC. But like I said, there are some unions within the Organized Labour who has written. But you see, they came together under one umbrella, that's organized labor. So we expected that the right to us. We received a letter from, I think, CLOSAC some time ago, yeah, also referred, but not as organized labor.
According to the Executive Secretary of NLC, 3 days after organized labour through TUC declared a nationwide strike, organized labour has not yet served notice of its intended strike on October 10th. Meanwhile, the National Labour Commission is set to invite organized labour. And the Executive Secretary says he is not surprised to the current strike happening in the country.
Yes, we'll be inviting them. But I'm aware that a lot of meetings are going on behind the scenes with them. You know, earlier on, the government tried to engage them, engage the leadership of organized labour, except that they could not arrive at a negotiated settlement. Later, the government took one more step by forming the ministerial committee of about 5 ministers, I suppose, to assess the efforts of government into the stopping of this Galamsey miners. I am not privy to the content of whatever report that has been issued, if there is any at all. But I know that the government has taken certain steps, except that to the organized labor, that is not satisfactory enough. But what they want is that there should be a ban on mining, on all forms of mining, a declaration of a state of emergency. That is where the problem is with them now.
Honorable, personally, are you quite surprised at all of these strikes happening, especially at the time?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, this is this is a recurrent, if it were in accounting, they say a recurrent expenditure. They okay. I mean, when it's getting to elections, especially when the term of the government is coming to an end, people may have negotiated with the government for certain benefits, either salary increments, some allowances, some this thing, and the end is just about 60 days away. They think that this is the time to get a pound of flesh, because if, assuming MPP wins, right, it will be under new leadership. The present crop of ministers may not be there, the president will not be there, the vice will not be there, so that even assuming if you even want to continue, you now have to begin. So people think that, yes, this is the man sitting there, this is the man I negotiated with, this is the man who promised me, so he must meet through before he goes. And there are some of them too, timelines were established, of course, which has not been met. So this is the time everybody will push for it. I remember President Kufuor saying that in times like this, even the dumb find their voice.
In other stories, the government is expanding the Ghana landscape restoration and small-scale mining projects with the aim of intensifying land restoration efforts in the country. Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Ophelia Mensah-Hayford, says the project extension is a crucial step towards addressing the environmental degradation caused by small-scale mining activities. Nana Boachi Yadom has more in this report.
The Ghana Lands Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project, which was initially launched to restore degraded lands and promote sustainable small-scale mining practices, has been successful in its initial phase. The project has helped to restore thousands of hectares of land, created jobs, and improved the livelihoods of local communities. During a tour of some beneficial districts in the Ashanti region, the Environment Minister, Ophelia Mensah-Hayford, noted despite the progress made, more needs to be done to address the scale of environmental degradation in the country.
I think their capacity has been built, and so they are calling for an extension, and people want us to extend our frontiers by 7 other farmers. And so in going forward, I think we are also going back, put up our reports, and then look for more funds to assist more farmers do such projects, for us to reclaim all the degraded lands and then also restore some of the nutrients that we've lost in the soil. It's very impactful, and the benefit is not only to the farmers but to Ghana as a nation and as a whole. This is because I think globally we are fighting climate change, and then planting of the trees and then greening our environment is part of the control measures to control climate change issues. And so I think it's very impactful, and so we want to encourage more farmers to plant the trees for us to be able to control the climate change. Because in getting more trees and greening, that is where we can build up our carbon that will control the depletions up there.
The extension of the project will enable the government to scale up its efforts and cover more areas affected by small-scale mining. Some farmers appreciated the government's efforts to help reclaim their degraded lands.
Makomenim bebree ko last year na project ne bae me fra enkura nkwansia a metu yomoka this year ya me ne moka se me fra enkura nwotwe a ono zo metu yomoka nti ama emo bia is me komenim bebree.
The farmers are, however, hoping to access fertilizers and other compensation to be productive. The minister says some concerns raised by the farmers will be addressed while efforts are being made to extend the project.
I think for the past 2 days we've been on the field, and it's so exciting. Apart from 1 or 2 complaints, which is normal, and we've assured them that that fund is on its way very soon. They will have access to it. Everybody is excited, and they've learned so much, and now they are growing mixed cropping and all that.
For Joy News, Nana Boachi Yadom, Kumasi.
Moving on, over 38,000 children in the Upper West region are expected to receive 4 doses of the malaria vaccine. This was disclosed by the Upper West Regional Director of Health, Dr. Damien Pungri, at the launch of the malaria vaccine implementation and measles rubella supplemental immunization programs. He added that 155,484 children are also expected to be vaccinated against measles and rubella. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Puwiri, disclosed that 38,871 children from all 11 municipalities in the region benefits from the exercise every year. Under the malaria vaccine implementation program, the children are expected to receive 4 doses of the vaccine from health facilities in the region between 6 to 18 months. Highlighting the importance of the vaccine implementation program, Dr. Puwiri stated that malaria vaccine reduces the number of times a child gets malaria and its severity. He noted that a child who received the malaria vaccine may still get malaria but will be less severe or milder, urging parents to complement it with other methods of preventing malaria, such as the use of mosquito insecticide-treated nets. Dr. Puwiri then turned to measles rubella, describing it as dangerous and contagious. He averred that since 2024, they have not recorded a single confirmed case of childbirth with measles. He however spoke of recent changes in the trend.
The country and the Upper West region have had higher numbers of confirmed cases of measles and rubella among children under 5. And this is due to the buildup of large numbers of unvaccinated children in the population, either as a result of not being able to reach out to these children or vaccine shortages. As you recognize, there has been an influx of population, especially into our region. Some of the children remain unvaccinated. To interrupt the spread of the disease, immunization coverage must be improved through supplemental immunization activities, in addition to the routine immunization. So every child coming to our clinics at 9 months and at 19 months, they are given the measles vaccine. But this is to catch up those who have missed their doses.
Let's do some election stories. Of course, we are your election headquarters. And the NDC presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, has expressed confidence in Ghana's judiciary, stating that although the NPP is packing the courts in hopes of escaping future accountability, he believes the country's judges will act with the right conscience. Speaking on the second day of his tour of the Northeast region, he noted that NDC is determined to break 8 years of corruption and economic mismanagement, where he expressed confidence in Ghana's judiciary, reiterating that although the NPP is packing the courts with the hope of avoiding accountability, he believes the judges will act with integrity.
It's not going to be easy because of the mess into which this government has plunged us. But we're going to spend the early years stabilizing the economy and stabilizing the currency. We left the CD to the dollar at 4 CDs to $1. Today you need 16.7 CDs to get $1. Inflation has eaten into everybody's pocket. And those who trusted government and bought government bonds, today they have lost their money. They closed the banks, sacked a lot of professional bankers. Today some of them are Uber drivers, some are bakers, some are unemployed. We're going to come and put this country back to work. We have the men and the women to bring this country back onto its feet. And that is exactly what we're going to do. On 7th December, NDC is number 8 on the ballot paper. They said they were going to break the 8, but God knows best. God gave the 8 to me. And so the only breaking of the 8 that is going to happen is the breaking of 8 years of corruption. And those who have stolen the money of the people of Ghana, we're going to follow them and take that money back for the people. All the corruption scandals are going to be investigated. And I'm sure that even though they are packing the courts because they think that it will earn them a free pass, even if they are found culpable of having stolen money, I believe in our judges that they are upright and they have a conscience. And that when the cases are brought to them and the evidence is clear, they will do what is right by the Ghanaian people.
In other stories, the assistant head teacher of academics at the Twin Cities Special School, Philip Klu Kweku Boga, is appealing to the general public for assistance in expanding the school's girls' dormitory, which is currently overcrowded. The school, which serves children with special needs, faces several challenges, including limited space and inconsistent support, making it difficult to accommodate more students. His heartfelt appeal was made during a visit by the power queens of the Electricity Company of Ghana, who extended their support to the school. There's more in this report.
The Twin Cities Special School, a place of hope and care for children born with special needs. Since its founding on October 9, 1976, the school has provided essential education and support to those children. But today, it faces challenges that require a helping hand. Originally located Hoseko, the school relocated in 2009 for safety and well-being of its students, but the need for a new girls' dormitory has become increasingly urgent.
Yeah, currently the girls' dormitory, we need a dormitory now because the girls, where they are now, the place is congested. So if you are a girl coming here, you'll be on a waiting list. So we need a dormitory for the girls. And also things, especially the infirmary, as we said, we need consumable drugs for the students. And then also we need a lot of funds to support the students and the staff. The government give a feeding grants, and it's like it has not been coming the way it's supposed to be. Sometime in a year like this, they will give about just one term. So people have been helping us. You have came near. The small donation that they do is what we use to take care of the student.
Recognizing the need for support, the Power Queens of the Electricity Company of Ghana, an association of female staff, arrived at the school not just to give, but to share moments of joy and love with the children.
Mothers, we normally forget about those children. We have difficulties getting in touch with them. We've done blood. We've done orphanage donation. So I think it's just appropriate that we turn to this special school in Takoradi to make an impact, just to show our love to them.
As the Power Queens bid farewell, the children of Twin Cities Special School are left with more than just gifts. They are left with the memory of a day filled with care and compassion.
Welcome to our business update for this morning. And in our first story, economist Professor Patrick Esuming is warning the conclusion of the Eurobond debt restructuring will have dire consequences on the economy, medium to long term. He fears come 2026, government may struggle to service its Eurobond debts due to the nature of the bonds, arguing there are no clear strategies to service them. Reacting to the development, Professor Esuming stated it would be too early to start jubilating.
You get a sense that that may probably have been part of it. Now, we are told that there's some subscription of about, is it 90% or so?
98%.
So we need to know whether, instead, because of this 90% subscription, whether we are going to save the initial amount that we were told that we will save. But I don't think in the short term, it sounds like it's good news for the economy. I don't think over the medium to long term, it's great news for the economy. If you look at the structure of the new bonds, the new Euro bonds, we are essentially just packing or pushing all our problems further down the line to 2026. I think what the hard work now begins. The government should come and convince us what we are going to do to ensure that when we get to full-scale payment in 2026, we will be ready. I think that's where the challenge is. So at the moment, yes, we are pushing our problems further down the line. Now the hard work begins. We want to hear what the plans are. What are the specific strategies we are going to put in place to ensure that come the time, or even including now that we have to start repaying, that we have the funds, especially the foreign currency, to repay. I think that's what Ghanaians want to hear.
Well, Ghana leads West Africa in the implementation of a multinational enterprises declaration. This is according to the International Labour Organization. Speaking to Joy Business at a breakfast meeting, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center country rep Vanessa Fala said the declaration was a means of balancing issues around trade with labor rights with the aim of promoting decent work within multinational enterprises working in Ghana and elsewhere. Here is Country Director for the ILO, Vanessa Fala.
I want to recognize the very important leadership from the Ministry of Employment, Labour Relations and Pensions in terms of coordinating and really spearheading the implementation of the MNE Declaration for multinational enterprises. Of course, this is a very important declaration that aims to promote responsible business conduct in Ghana. And also the purpose of this breakfast meeting here today is to go deeper into the MNE Declaration and also articulate what it aims to achieve. I also want to say, the role also of the national focal point that is coordinating the implementation of this declaration has been very instrumental. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has taken a leadership in ensuring a coordinated approach. I also want to recognize the role of the trade union in Ghana, the Ghana TUC, the GFL, as well as the Ghana Employers Association in creating and facilitating dialogue that will begin to see business and enterprises really committing and respecting workers' rights.
And that's it for our business updates this morning. Handing over back to Sweetie Abochi, who is copying me in black. Or maybe I'm copying her. Who knows?
Don't pay any attention to Benjamin. But right before we wrap up the AM news, let me tell you who's joining us to review the newspapers this morning. We have Kwame Nkrumah Botsio. He's Secretary of the Independent Committee of the CPP. Dr. Paul Greboache-Dankwa, spokesperson on governance and security. And Philemon La from the NDC Communications team. All three gentlemen joining us to review the newspapers. We'll be right back.